All right, guys, happy March 6th, coming to you full of energy, full of excitement. I came off a little bit of a panic yesterday, and I want to start off with this type of message. And thank you, Jeff. So I know that you guys are building and you're building this content library. Let's call it this time capsule of all these memories, thoughts, experiences, things that your kids can go back and look at decades down the road and be like, wow, look how cool my dad was, my grandma, my mom, whoever you are. And it's such a powerful tool. And that's how I look at social media, to be able to really share our experiences, our value, and then have this time capsule that forever people can go back and watch and look at. Now, yesterday was a scare for me. Obviously, this social media game is something that I take a lot of pride in. I've been at it for about 5 years now, and I'm not the best in the game. I'll never say that. I'm just a consistent dude on social media. But when I couldn't get into social media yesterday, I had that moment where I was like, "Oh my God, all my followers were gone. I couldn't see any of my videos. I wasn't following any of you." And I appreciate the relationships that I've made through social media and how it's helped me grow my business. So for a moment, I said, okay, well, what if that did happen? Hey, whoever's talking, can you mute yourself? Whoever's got some background noise, what that is. Mashan, can you mute yourself? Okay, cool. I don't know where I was at in my thought, but let me try to go back. Oh, my thought was, is if social media went away right now, they closed TikTok in the United States of America, they closed Instagram in the United States of America, like what would you do? Now, obviously, all of your videos can be stored on your phone, put them in a Dropbox, have those, but we have to get into an era to where we're moving our potential leads off of the platform. And what I mean by that is that, say you're actively communicating with a lead yesterday, and then you have no way to communicate with them, like, oh my God, what do I do? That means that you're now frantic and your business might be in jeopardy, so on and so forth. So you have to get into this era of, how do I take a lead and move that lead into a CRM, into my newsletter, and move them off of the platform. Now, once you're having great communication, wonderful. I'm going to add you to my newsletter. I'm going to set you up on Real Scout, and I'm going to be here as an advocate and as a resource as you're going through the home buying journey or your selling journey, whatever that looks like. So I want you guys to get in the habit to say, okay, I have a lead that's active. How can I remove them from my social media and put them directly into my CRM? So CRM or DM to CRM to protect any leads in case there is an outage, in case that your account gets blocked or locked. Glenda Baker, who is a great example. Glenda Baker has been off social media now for 3 weeks, and her account was blocked and banned because they said she was imitating a celebrity. She is the celebrity, and they said that she was imitating a celebrity. And so I had dinner with her last year, and she said, Elias, oh my stars, you need to move people off of the platform, put them into your CRM. So, Jeff, that's a really, really good reminder. For me, it was a moment of, oh my God, all my hard work is gone. But then it's just like, do I know all these people that I follow and that follow me outside of Instagram? Are they in my newsletter? Are they in my database? Are they in a way that I could just communicate and be like, hey, Instagram's down, but I want to send you a quick message? And I thought to myself, the answer is no. The answer is no. And so that's a challenge for me. That's a challenge for all of us. So the message of the morning is protect the asset. The asset is the communication and the leads that you're developing from social media. Because listen, if you want to be an influencer, cool. I congratulate you. But I believe that this is more important. Be influential, meaning your thoughts, your cause, your crusade, your purpose, be influential. I'm not trying to be fucking an influencer that gets 1 million views. That's vanity, right? I want to be influential. So if you're trying to be influential and you have reach, remove those people from that platform, put them into your CRM, put them into your newsletter. And that's my thoughts and that's my sentiment. So I'm going to have somebody take us out on the field on this beautiful Monday morning, or Monday morning, Wednesday morning. But before I go, I have 2 hands up. I don't want to miss these hands, but it's got to be rapid fire. Kelly, what's your contribution? Because I want to make sure that we keep the train moving.
I just wanted to ask if anyone here has had their Instagrams deleted or anything.
I'm sure, I don't know. Please raise your hand. If we have time afterwards, we'll get to that. Sean has his hand up that he has. Maybe he can talk about that when he grabs the mic. And then Heidi, you had your hand up for a brief moment. Did you have a rapid fire contribution? You're muted.
What I've been doing, Elias, as soon as I get a lead from my website or from KV Core, for example, and the client inputs their information of what they're looking for, and I phone them. If I can't reach them by phone, I go ahead and input everything into Real Scout, into a listing alert. And within a couple of hours, these people are looking at houses on Real Scout.
Perfect. Perfect. Great example. I appreciate that, Heidi. So let's do this. I'm going to go over to Jess. Jess, I'm going to have you officially bring us out on the field on this beautiful morning. She said, oh God, Elias, why do you do this to me? Set the tone, set the rhythm, set the intention for the group. So Jess Bling, without further ado, let's turn the mic over to you.
All
There.
right. Woo. I think that today's message is your piece is not worth a paycheck. I know that we are in a position where, you know, we are commission based, and we always say that if you're chasing a paycheck, you're doing the wrong thing. I had a specific situation that I will not go into that happened yesterday, and I was willing to walk away from almost a $25,000 commission because my value was not seen and my boundaries were crossed.
Mm.
Very big on protecting your peace and your boundaries. And if you do a great job at what you do and someone doesn't appreciate it, we work in a business where you can say, this doesn't serve me, and I'm going to protect my peace.
I love it. I absolutely love that. So great stuff. Great message. You guys, before we get rolling, I'm going to pass the mic over to Sean. If you don't follow Sean, he's going to go through that in a minute. His handle on Instagram, make sure to give him a follow, and we'll get into proper introductions. But I was listening to a podcast this morning, and in the podcast, the center of the podcast was enjoy the dirt. And the message of the podcast is that the dirt is where the game is played. Now, there's some things that we do in this game that are super, super gritty, but those are some of the most powerful things, right? Like, for example, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm going to have a VA do it. Well, hold on a second. Like, are you really learning? Are you hitting the phones? Are you actually calling and making appointments yourself? Are you out there grinding? Are you knocking on the doors? Are you doing the things? Are you doing the hard things in your business and saying, you know what, I'm going to stay in the dirt because the dirt makes me super, super well-rounded. It makes me educated. I understand this business. I understand people, human behavior. I'm going to stay in the dirt. And Gary Vee said that, like, stay in the dirt and appreciate all of the hard stuff in this game and like stay there because the dirt is where the game is played, and never get to the level where you're so big that you're not going to do those things anymore. Listen, you guys, the dirt is where the game's played. Enjoy those moments where it's gritty and it's scrappy, because I promise you, you guys will grow when you guys stay in the dirt. So you guys, I'm going to turn the mic over to Sean. Sean and I think we met via social media. I think that's how we actually met, via social media, through the industry at different events. It's been really cool to watch your journey. It's been really cool to see your videos from the van and everything you've done and all of your contributions. I know you're a part of the Forward Academy with Neil Holmes, or at least part of that ecosystem. So Sean is the regional vice president of Cross Country Mortgage. And what's great about Sean is that he's always wanting just to deliver great information. Obviously, he's built a great following on social media, but I feel that he's done that in a way that it's been super organic, and the purpose has always been to provide tremendous levels of value. Now, obviously, if someone's going to come to Keep It Moving Group coaching, I want to make sure that they're going to deliver something for the group in a time that the seasons are changing, the industry is changing, the market is changing and shifting. I think it's always important, especially on Wednesdays, that we come together, hear high-level strategies, and this is from everyone, right? This platform is open for everyone. If they have something that I feel that you guys will connect with, by all means, I'll give them an opportunity to come. And Sean, we've been here before. I think you were a guest about 2 years ago. I think it's already been 2 years. It's crazy, bro. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sean Herrero. Sean Herrero is coming in all the way from Southern California at Disneyland with his family, but he's taking time out to be with us. So Sean, my man, go ahead, introduce yourself, and let's have you take the mic. So without further ado.
Thank you, bro. No, dude, thank you again for having me a guest on Keep It Moving. I love the community that you've built, and I love how you give back to this community. And yeah, my son turned 21 yesterday. He's a Disney nerd. And yeah, I could have picked a different day to do this, but I just think that the timing is so important right now of what's happening with our industry and just the opportunity that exists. So I've been in mortgage lending for over 20 years now. I've been helping home buyers directly since 2017, one of the top 1% in the country. And it's just coming from a place of service. Like whoever earlier, somebody was, I don't see her now, but whoever is saying like, we can choose who we want to serve. Your purpose is to find who you're supposed to serve. That's how I look at what we do. And you know, my son is an influencer. So I just want to touch on a few things that Elias said. And really, like, I have kind of stuff to run through, but we could keep this really conversational. And really, to me, it's like, let's get through to what you guys need, because I can solve any problem. But my son's an influencer. He's on a team, I don't know what to call it, just called Amp World. And I had dinner with a bunch of those creators last night. And I was talking to their head of like their strategist. And we were talking about our industry. And I said, you know, there's a guy that pitches. If I told you guys, hey, I have a lead funnel that got me 500 leads last week, you guys would all get really excited about that. But what we don't hear is that nothing happened with the leads, right? They didn't convert. So why do we get excited about this number, this quantity, when I think we should really be focused on quality and who am I supposed to reach? So I was talking to the strategist last night at dinner and telling him kind of my thought process on that. He's like, yeah, for your industry, it's like narrow and deep, right? You don't want 1 million views. You can't. Then I was like, dude, I can't help anybody in Nebraska. Like, why do I want those people to see my content? We need to become the social or the local influencers, right? We just want people in our market or people in the demographic we're supposed to serve to hear and see us and find that they know, like, and trust us. And that's how I look at social media. I want to be seen, and I want people to either know, like, or trust me. And if they don't, cool, they're never going to reach out. And I got to know faster. So that was just some thoughts on kind of touch on the social thing. And when it went down yesterday, I kind of looked at it as like a break. You know, I'm like, sweet, I don't have to look at this thing for a minute. Like, they'll fix it. It'll be fine. But also, to Elias's point, when people DM me, the first thing I ask is, what's your email? Because that is where I can stay in touch with them forever. If the internet, well, not the internet, that would be a problem. But if social went away tomorrow, I have my database of referral partners. I have my database of past clients. I have my database of, I hate the word leads, but people who have showed interest in buying a home. You know, so your email is the power source, and getting people out of social faster is a good idea. Is this cool to just keep rolling like this, or?
Bro, like I'm if you guys are cool with the conversation thus far, let's, you know, thumbs up, emoji on the screen, whatever. I think this is a super organic platform, bro. So I think that everyone's on pace right now with you.
Yeah. So what I really wanted to focus on is, I have this presentation that I call Prepare for the Flood. And I feel like I'm 1 week too late. Basically, I did this earlier in January and I kind of saw what was coming. And as soon as rates tick down just a little bit, you're going to have a flood of home buyers coming to the market. You will have more inventory, but home prices are going to continue to go up. It's going to feel like 2021 again. And I think it already does. Like, as of last week, I had a property in Livermore, California that went 200,000 over. I thought we offered 150 over. I thought we were like a shoe-in with a 10-day close. We got beat on that one by price. I had one yesterday in Concord, 17 offers. We were one of 4 counters, but we're just seeing these double-digit offers on most properties now, right? So it feels like 2021. So I think what a lot of people are doing is they're waiting. They're waiting for rates to go down. They're waiting for these people to show up. And if you wait, you already missed, because they're not going to think of you, right? We need to be top of mind when the flood hits. So when interest rates go down and all these buyers come into the market, and those sellers that felt like they were stuck because of their interest rate can sell, if you haven't already made yourself top of mind, you're going to miss the boat. And that's really what I've been working on, is like, how do we make sure we're heard and seen? And I think just the topic of Instagram going down yesterday is great, because if you're putting out content that speaks to people, that solves their problems, I think you're in a better place. So I'm just going to show a couple slides just from this presentation. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. I gave you share screen rights.
Okay, sweet. So play this on this.
And amen to you, Joel. And Joel said in the chat below, so happy my next door didn't go down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So like I went into ChatGPT and said, you know, make me a millennial realtor with a bunch of people on Noah's Ark, because that's kind of how I look at it, right? And I like the Noah's Ark analogy because he built the boat well in advance to make sure he could do the job, right? That is what we all should have been doing and should continue to do, is keep building your boat so you can help as many people jump on as possible. So that's kind of what came up with this graphic, was to really think of it that way. you know, and what a lot of things come down to for me is psychology. We have to solve people's problems. We have to speak to things that they may not even voice their opinion on. Because if we internalize something, if I in my mind think I'm right, I'm not going to ask you because I already know I'm right. I've convinced myself I'm right. So in 2021, everyone was buying homes because they had a fear of missing out. And then in 2022, all the people who said, "Oh, I don't want to buy a house yet because I'm going to wait for the competition to go away." Okay, well the competition's gone. Well, I don't want to buy a house if no one else is. They had a fear of effing up or messing up, and it was counterintuitive, right? They wanted to wait longer, and then we get 2023, interest rates at a 21-year high, and prices are still skyrocketing nationally. I think home prices went up 5% last year. So it's like, what is going on? This is not what was supposed to happen. And those are the things that we should all be speaking to and showing solutions for, not only on social. So like when I think of content as anything we do. This is content right now. A one-on-one conversation is content to that one person. Anything you do is from a marketing perspective, a typed email is still content, right? It's not just social. We just have to look at how we reach people, and everything we do should speak to the fear points that people have. I'm scared the market's going to crash. Well, let me show you some data why I don't think it will. I can't guarantee anything, but let's just look at what's going on so that I can help you build more confidence. I can't sell my house because I have too low of an interest rate. I just helped a guy. He sold his house. He had a 2.5% interest rate. His new rate's 6.5%. He's saving $2,000 a month. Like, we focus on the wrong things, right? He's focused on rate. And when you buy a house, we're trained. Like I always say, we're programmed. Like I look at how things are programmed or how we're fed, right? An Instagram feed. When you go to buy a car, you go to the dealership. What do they ask? Like, what's the payment? We just are trained. We're programmed to ask what's the payment when it comes to a car. When we go to buy a house, what are we programmed to ask? What's the rate? Why do I care about the rate? I care about we took a portion because he's made a ton of equity in the last couple of years. He paid off all his consumer debt that had stacked up over the last 2 years, and his monthly cash flow improved by $2,000. His mortgage payment is higher, which means he has a bigger tax benefit because he can write off more mortgage interest. But his total outgoing cost, that weight is lifted, right? He's keeping $2,000. It was actually $2,567. And what I showed him that he could do is not only can you pocket $2,000, take 567, just pay that on the new mortgage extra, you'll pay off your loan 8 years faster, right? So there's a lot of different ways to look at these things, and these are things he wouldn't have ever asked because he never would have thought there was solutions or things, ways to look at it, right? I'm just showing him a different lens. So this year's going to be the flood. There's not a doubt, right? All the people, there's so much pent up demand. Everyone's waiting. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and it's already started. I wanted to do like a mortgage rate update. So basically, if you guys are wondering what's up with rates have effectively been flat since December 12th. Rates have been flat since December 12th. They then leveled off a little bit more, but I don't care what interest rates are. And you guys shouldn't either. And you should tell your clients that it doesn't matter, because why do I care what the rate is? Like, how does the rate change whether I want to buy a house or not? The rate matters because it tells me what my monthly payment will be. That's what a rate does. If I can keep the same payment with a lower rate, I could buy more house. So I had a client who they were stuck at $1,050,000 from their comfort zone on payment, made an offer, got beat. 2 weeks later, they called and they go, "Sean, found one. We want to make an offer at $1,200,000. I'm like, whoa, guys, your limit. Like, you told me your comfort zone was $1,050,000. I want to make sure we're comfortable. Like, yeah, with the rate change, the payment's the same. We're good to $1,200,000. In 2 weeks, they bumped their price $150,000 because the payment was the same. It wasn't about the rate, it was about the payment. So we're already seeing this. Rates don't matter. It just tells us what house price we get into. And if it's this competitive, then, what are we supposed to do? I can't wait for rates to go down because it just means prices are going to go up. Darnell, fire away, my man.
Hey, Sean, thank you for all this insight, man, and for spilling the game on us. I just had a quick question. You're a loan officer, correct?
Yes.
So as an agent, I'm aware that we have to be very careful when we give financial advice. Is it safe to inform a client that you can save on that mortgage payment by paying more than your principal, or paying more into your principal.
I don't see why you couldn't say that, because it's like if you pay extra money on your mortgage, you'll pay off the house faster. Kind of like auto loan,
course.
right? Yeah. So I don't think you need to get into the specifics of it. I also think, like, more so now than ever, your lender and realtor relationship, like, it's a team effort. And I think we should each stay in our lane. I'm not going to go into cost per foot because I don't know, right? But if you should have a lender relationship that can really speak to those details, I'll say broadly, and then also for that individual as well.
Thank you.
That's how we support your business. At least that's how I see it. My job is to make you be like, dang, Darnell referred me this dude, and I feel so good about my decision now. I don't think it's your job to explain all that. But high level, I don't think there's any problem with it.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think, Darnell, too, just, food for thought as you're growing in this business, right? Like, we're not here to give tax information. We're not here to help you set up and, impound accounts and all that. That's really not our specialty. But can we align them with people that can help and answer those questions? Absolutely. Right. It's like answering all the questions about the crime rate. Well, no, like, here's some resources for you to go and check on your own, because we want to remove ourselves from those conversations. Obviously, we want to help, but we also just want to be a guide at sometimes and point them in the right direction. I don't want to have that conversation.
Right. That was kind of the basis of the question, was really just, is it okay to give that little bit of insight on just my personal knowledge on amortization, because I don't want to seem like, oh, I have no idea or no clue about that side of things. Let me refer you to this person. I want to at least be able to say, no, I'm familiar with the process. I just want to make sure this is the guy that you go to get the full scope and fully understand.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. 100%. Like, you will, it's safe to say, absolutely, you can do that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Right on.
Yeah, like, I was towing the line on an offer yesterday, like, talking real estate attorney, and I put in the email, all this being said, I am not a real estate attorney. Consult with your broker. But I wanted to get accepted, and I wanted them to have full picture, but, like, towing the line, right? So getting into what we started with, we got to find our people, right? I'm going to do it this way so I can jump through a few of these, because I don't want to go through the whole thing. But this guy, Seth Godin, has a book called This Is Marketing. And it's kind of a game changer. If you guys read it, it's pretty easy read. But he has this line that says, people like us do things like this. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what that meant, right? It took me forever to think about that. I know who my people are. I am here to serve first-time home buyers, veterans, like, lower price point. I'm not trying to be the $5 million mortgage guy. Those are not my people. My people are first-time home buyers, veterans, first responders. That's, like, a lot of who I help. So when they say people like us do things like this, first-time homebuyers like us do things like this. Instead of trying to go broad spectrum and reach everyone, I want my marketing to speak to this one individual. I want it to feel like this was only made for me, right? That's how we want to make people feel. And so that's why this, hey, I got 1 million views things is kind of counterproductive for what we are trying to accomplish. I'm not trying, I would love to make millions of dollars posting videos online, but that's not my business. My business currently is, Sean, you make money when you help people get into their homes. So you need to help more people get in their homes faster. And so I need to speak to those individual people, not to the masses. So don't get stuck on the, how many followers do I have? How many views did I get game? Because that's just like an endorphin rush, or, if that's not the right chemical, whatever chemical it is that makes you feel good. It's not what we need. We want people to DM us so we can say, hey, what's your email? And start this conversation outside of social. So he has a line in the book where he said, nobody wants a 1/4-inch drill bit, but they need a 1/4-inch hole. And I was like, what? And I sat on this for a while, and then it was like an epiphany, because I just, in my head, I can see myself at Home Depot, like, looking at all the drill bits, and it's like, I don't want this thing, but I got in my car and I drove to Home Depot because I needed this thing to accomplish something else, right? So no one needs a 1/4-inch drill bit, but they need a 1/4-inch hole. I literally provide the one thing everybody wants to get rid of as fast as possible, right? Like, one of my goals with how I help my customers is I show them how they can be mortgage free faster. So I was like, I provide something that nobody wants, but why do they need it? They need it because they want to buy a house. And then I just started going down this, like, rabbit hole of it. Well, why do they want to buy the house? Maybe they're the first homeowners in their family. That's a sense of home ownership, like the pride that comes with it. Maybe it's an investment property. It's going to make them money. At the bottom, when you get to the bottom of it, it's emotion. Home ownership makes us feel a certain way, right? And we want our marketing to speak to that feeling. And I think a lot of times, going back to what I started with, that's where we're overcoming fears and objections. And if I can speak to those feelings and I can be the person to provide the thing that gives them that positive emotion, that is something that they're going to tell their friends about, right? And that is what we want to do. And really think about this too. When do people tell a story? They either say they had an incredible experience or they had a terrible experience. If you're doing the middle, no one's going to talk about it, right? Oh yeah. Yo, you bought a house, dude? Congratulations. Yeah, no, it's epic, man. It's great. It's great to be a homeowner. Cool. Did you get a mortgage? Yeah, I did get a mortgage. He's not going to like, it's lackluster. If I do a terrible job, I promise you he's going to tell everyone about it. If I do a really, really good job, hey, you're buying a house, you got to use my guy. Like, he is the best. Like, we have a contractor, we have a plumber, we have an electrician. I want to be that person to these people. So it's narrow and deep instead of broad spectrum. And so what we can do is use the noise that's provided every single day to help overcome these objections. So these are articles I pulled at end of last year, just saying, beginning of last year, showing why people didn't want to buy homes. The media puts fear into people, and it's our job to help them overcome that. Think about it. You've never heard the media say there's a good time to buy a house. 2020, 2021, I think everyone wishes they would have bought a home in those years, hindsight being what it is. But what was the media saying? Don't buy a house. This is unsustainable. Market's going to crash. Prices can't go up like this, right? Then we get to 22, 23, mortgage rates increase, current mortgage climb, mortgage rates rise, applications are down, the fear of buying. Okay, well, now that the rates are higher, prices are going to crash. Don't buy either. So I'm not supposed to buy when prices are going up, and I'm not supposed to buy when prices are going down. So when am I supposed to buy? They'll never say there's a good time. We have to overcome that for people and help them see something different. And now what we're up against, getting back to me, like I help a ton of first-time buyers. This is what they see. Only 16% of Californians can afford to buy a home. This was August of 23. December 22, Gen Z are so annoyed that they can't get into the housing market. They're doom spending on nice things that makes them feel like grown-ups. It's taking Americans much longer in life to buy their first home. This one's fun, this California one. I did the math on this. I don't have it now, but like 16% of Californians is hundreds of thousands of people. So think of the opposite of this. If this article said hundreds of thousands of Californians can afford to buy a home, that would be a positive thing. We would read that and be like, oh, that's awesome. But if we frame it only 16%, it's a negative. I could have rewritten the exact same statistic two different ways. One would have felt good and one would have felt bad. So you can do like an Instagram green screen, these types of articles, and just say, hey, this thing's ridiculous. And here's why. I did one of those types of videos on Saturday morning. I saw this, 1955 home price thing. A house was $7,500 or something like that. And it pissed me off, and like had my hoodie on, and I just went like this. I'm like, this is so dumb, and here's why it's dumb. Like it got a bunch of engagement. There's 25,000 views on it now or whatever, but it was super simple and easy to do, and I'm educating people. Is it going to get me more clients? Probably not, but like it lets people know what I'm about, right? So it was worth doing, but this is what we have to overcome. So last year, 108 of my 157 clients were millennials, and over 50% of them put less than 10% down. That is a good statistic to share with people. If you look at, who you're serving to combat the media, right? I instantly go, hey, you guys are seeing all this crap saying you can't buy a house. Well, guess what? I can prove this wrong. So that's really what I want you to think about is people like us do things like this. The media will never say there's a good time to buy a house. They tee up content for you every single day to show why people should know, like, and trust you, why you can help them accomplish something that everyone's saying can't be done anymore. Other questions? I don't want to like soapbox this. So if people have questions,
Yeah. So I love this because I love taking the news and shedding light and the reality of what actually is behind it. So right now, you guys, just let's debunk this for a second. Can anybody on the screen right now tell me what is the population of just California alone? Who can tell me what the population of California alone? So if you got to go to Google, if you already know the answer, go ahead and put it in the chat or just take yourself off of mute. What is the population of California right now?
I think
Average.
40 million-ish.
40 million-ish. Okay. And so since Jeff is a mathematician, what is 16% of 39? I have 39 million. What's 16% of 39 million?
Let's see, that's I don't know, about 5 or 6 million.
Yeah, 6.4 million people in California alone are eligible and can qualify to purchase a home. That's a different spin on that, right? Like and I appreciate you saying that, Sean, because I always say this, that the media is the shepherd, right? And they're there with their little thing and they're leading the sheep, and I'm not being rude, I'm just being real. And the sheep are the consumers. Okay, follow you that way. Okay, that's fearful. Oh my God, we're not going to buy until we come along. And what our job is to shine light and be the reality of what's actually happening behind all of that. Because in that one situation, you can do that green screen right now, and people are like, okay, good stuff, Sean, good stuff. So man, I appreciate that like look behind what's there, do the math yourself and be like, that's actually a really positive thing. 16% of Californians can purchase a home. That's a really good number. 6.4 million people.
Yeah, and they can't frame it that way, because if I say 6.4 million people can afford to buy homes, no one's going to read the article. I didn't scare them, right? And here's the thing too. I think what Elias said is I'm not being negative. I'm being real. I think a lot of times we want to, like, we'll feel it, right? Because if you're a true professional in what you do, my confidence in my job borderlines on arrogance. And so if I truly believe that I'm giving the best advice, when I see something like that, I'll feel compelled to like prove it wrong. But then we get scared of being combative, right? Oh, I don't want to upset the apple cart. Like, I'm not going to say anything. It's our duty. It's our responsibility to say something. And by doing that, you flip it on them. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do the because I've done this presentation like 4 times. I was on stage doing it and I went, wait a sec, 16%'s a lot. So I was like, when I get off stage, I need to do the math on this. But yeah, so little things like that to help people, right? We're here to help people achieve something they're being told they can't achieve anymore. Are there any questions before we move on? And is like, if you guys are like, this stuff's terrible, let's talk about something else, just let me know. Good?
I think everyone's good.
Okay, cool.
Is there any questions, any insights, any feedback at this stage before he goes on? Anybody? Go ahead and throw your hand up or take yourself off mute. All right, cool. Let's keep cruising.
Okay, cool. So, so going back to, you guys see this? Okay, good. So people like us do things like this, like to get more buyers. So I saw this post on Instagram, and a lot of things make me think about, I'll see something, go, I wonder what this would look like. So this was rental in Martinez for $3,200 a month, 3-bed, 2-bath. And I went, I wonder what a mortgage in Martinez would like. What could somebody buy if they wanted to have a house in Martinez, a 3-bed, 2-bath? What would the mortgage look like? So I built out a rent versus own comparison. We build these custom buyer's guides for every client. And I just messed with it. So I was like, okay, if I'm renting for $3,200, assume $50 for renter's insurance. What does that look like if I buy? If I did 20% down, I have a mortgage of $503,000. My total payment is $4,234. But I have $466 that's paying down my loan balance, right? It's like not free. It's a forced savings account. I'm paying down equity. So I'm giving that money back to myself. And then if I net out my tax benefit only in the state of California, I don't ever show federal benefit because you have to itemize and there's no guarantee they'll get it that way. So I just do state of California. Well, if I bought a home, I think it's 600,000 behind here. My monthly payment is basically the same. And I found 2 properties on Redfin that match this, and that's what I used to model this. So I was like, okay, maybe I don't need to rent. Assuming I have 20% down, I could buy something, right? And I did a post about this on Instagram, and people beat me up. They're like, dude, nobody has 20% down. Like, first-time buyers don't have the ability to put. I'm like, dude, I do this every day. So you're not going to help somebody and help somebody see something because you're going to go off the assumption that everyone's broke. And I don't think that's a fair assumption to make. I can't help everybody. I can't speak to everyone. This example is not for the person who has 3% down, right? This is for the person that's sitting on 20%, who has family that can give them money, something like that, to have them realize, oh my gosh, I never would have seen it this way. And then what I love doing with these is showing a chart like this that shows forecasted appreciation. So Martinez is anticipated to go up almost 6% a year. over the next 5 years, you're going to make $235,000, right? That's data. Well, I'm waiting for the market to crash. Totally understand. Let's look at that. I can show them what it would look like from an appreciation perspective. And you see how quickly your money starts to stack. And then my favorite chart when I show first-time buyers this is this tax benefit analysis section, because what it does is it nets out, and I always do 3 years because we can all see our future 3 years. 5 years, 10 years. I don't personally know exactly where I'll be 5 years from now, but I have a rough idea on 3. So I want to show them. And what we do is we go, look, if you keep renting for the next 36 months, you will have spent $122,000 in rent. Nobody thinks of their rent this way. They only look at their per month cost. They don't look at how it accumulates over time. When they see a 6-figure number, it's kind of jaw dropping because they never thought about it. If you bought your house, you would have spent $152,000 in total, but you paid down your loan by $18,000. You got $9,000 out of the state of California and into your pocket. So your net cost was $124,000. You're almost the same. But over that time, based on the previous chart, your home value is now $747,000. Your loan balance is down to $484,000. So you have $262,000 in equity. When they see this number, human nature is always negative. We don't look at it and go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't believe in 3 years I'm going to have $262,000 in equity. We go, why didn't I do this sooner? I am such an idiot for not buying 3 years ago. And that is an emotion we want people to feel, because that feeling of regret is what helps us or compels us to make a change. And that's what we want to help people do. So again, everything I'm talking about, this is marketing, but I'm emotionally, right? I'm solving, I want to overcome their fears and objections with data that emotionally get them excited, where at first they're probably going to feel a little bummed out that they hadn't done it sooner. Any questions on that before I move on? Cool. All right. So people like us do things like this. I want to like really get you guys stuck on this. So open houses. So think of how somebody who's visiting an open house walks in. They walk in, let's just say it's a super busy one. There's a bunch of people in there. They're going to think, I wonder how much more I'm going to have to pay for this thing over the ask price. And I always coach my clients that we don't know what the ask price is. We're looking at a list price. It's just the number somebody threw out. Take Oakland, for example. Oakland, notorious for listing ridiculously low. It's just what we do there, right? We have to coach people through the list price is not what the seller is asking for the home. It's just some random number somebody picked. And I'll use eBay as an example of that. I could list a property for $1 on eBay, get a bunch of eyes on, right? Get people fighting over it. I have a secret reserve that I'm hoping I hit in the background that nobody knows about. But hopefully with all these people fighting over it, because I listed it for $1, it'll bump over that price, that secret reserve. That's what a list price is. It's eBay. I'll use an example of a property. So this was a property I helped a client buy, 312 Lindsay Drive, and I did the open house for it as well. So I built out a buyer's guide for this to show people I want to speak to what people are feeling. So if I walk into this open house, I wonder how much I'm going to have to pay over ask. Well, ask is not, or list is not ask. So I show the list price and I say, look, if you pay $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, $25,000 increments, here's how the price changes. So if I said, if I was you, I'm a realtor, and I go, look, there's going to be a lot of competition. Probably going to have to go 25,000 over. Are you comfortable paying 25,000 more than the list price on this? Emotionally, no, that's crazy. Anyone who wants to do that's an idiot. Okay, fair point, right? Emotionally, I get it. Hey, is it worth losing this house over $180 per month? No, that's like one dinner out, half a dinner out these days. No, I'm not going to lose for 180 bucks. Okay, cool. Is it worth losing over an extra $3,000 out of pocket? No. No, I want this house. I just asked the same question, but instead of asking what the house cost, I asked them what the house will cost them and got them comfortable with that, right? I'm not putting up cash. So I'm not paying $25,000 more. The bank is putting up the large majority of the money. I need to look at what it's going to cost me personally. And if we go back to those other charts showing how values are going up, what am I worried about, right? And with this, okay, if home prices are going up like this, why? Because there's 96,000 people in Contra Costa County that can afford to buy. And there's only 2,000 homes being built. So there's a massive supply and demand issue. And this does not take into consideration the people moving from out of that county, let alone back into the state since work from home went away, right? There's a giant gap. So when we show them these data points, we flip it on them. And these things at open houses, they're conversation starters. I don't want you standing in the kitchen saying, hey, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for coming by. Like, I want to create things for you to talk about with people. And so they see all this data and it's confusing, right? Like, this flyer, there's too much going on. This is confusing. They need you. I want them to need you. I don't want them to need us, right? I want them to look at us as advisors. I'm not a loan officer. You're not a realtor. You're a real estate advisor, and I'm a mortgage advisor. That's what we need to be to people. And so when they see these, they come up and talk to you. And when you show them this, they might say, damn, my current realtor, or I don't have a realtor, but no one's ever shown anything like this. This is who's going to serve me. Like, this is my teammate that I need. So actually, I'll come back to this real quick. So I showed up to 1-2 on at the open house, right? Well, here's the buyer's guide that I built for the client when they were looking at their offer price. They wanted me to model 1-1, 1-130, and then I modeled 1-2 just because I felt like it was going to go a lot higher. Long story short, they ended up buying at 1-2. Like, there they are, right? So it was funny to me that the price was exactly the same as what I had put on the open house flyer. That's what they ended up paying. And they did it like, they were so excited to have overpaid for this house because they did it knowing what they were getting into. Like we said, hey, is it worth losing the house over $700 a month? No. Okay, cool. Let's go get your house then. Is it worth they did low down. Is it worth losing over 10 grand? $100,000 in price with 10% down is just 10 grand out of pocket. No, I want to go get the house. They did it with confidence. So I'll get into some marketing stuff too, because I want you to rethink how you look at doing mailers. For a long time, I hated mailers. I thought I can't get feedback. It's like a high school relationship. I need closure. Like, why'd you break up with me? And with those, you mail them out. You spend $1,000 to send to 1,000 houses, and your phone doesn't ring. You don't get an email. Nothing happens. And it's like, was it the font? Was it the message? Was it the photo? I don't know what to change. So I'm just going to keep doing it and wasting money, hoping something changes without knowing what to change. And these are the things we tell people. Is now a good time to sell? Yes, it is. Of course, realtor, you're always going to tell me it's a good time to sell. I'm here for all your real estate needs. I didn't know I had real estate needs. I have buyers. Guess what? Everyone does. Thinking about selling your home, I'll make it happen. Anybody can sell my home in a market like this. These aren't speaking. These are not people like us do things like this. These are not solving people's problems emotionally. So if we think of, kind of Bay Area or kind of everywhere problems, people feel stuck. Sellers aren't selling because they feel stuck in their homes. So I went to ChatGPT and I just put in, make a guy handcuffed to his house that wants to get away, came up with something like this. This is the postcard I would send. Feeling stuck, there are ways to buy before you sell. Back of the postcard probably has a little bit more detail, but I want him to scan, right? We're all programmed to scan QR codes now. And if you use CoreFact for your marketing, this QR code do you guys already know this? It's specific to the one house you're sending to? Okay, cool. So I want to get from the mailbox to the trash can. I want to create enough curiosity for them to pull their phone out of their pocket and go, as soon as they do that, I got them. I know who got it, right? And if you scan this, it goes to a landing page sample I made that speaks to what they scanned. Need to move, but feeling stuck in your home, I can help. If your interest rate makes you feel stuck, if you don't want to be homeless because you don't want to be contingent, we solve these problems for our clients all the time. This is a face-to-face, right? This is content. They're meeting me for the first time without meeting me. And they can, and I'm speaking to what they want. If they scan this QR code and I said feeling stuck and it goes to some generic get your home value page, it doesn't have anything. I landed somewhere that has nothing to do with what caught my interest. I know that you scan, so at least I can do my follow-ups, but I want to solve their problems. So that's just one example. And then another one I did, I just did Poets Corner in Walnut Creek for this example. Again, I just did money coming out of a house skyrocketing thing in ChatGPT. Hey neighbor. So if you're marketing to a place you live, say neighbor, you're one of me. This person who sent me this thing is one of me. Poets Corner, that is where I live. That's my neighborhood. Home values are soaring. That's what I want to hear because the media is telling me everything's going to crash. Hopefully I scan. And then if I scan, what I do here is, and you can, I'll go into one other thing on this right after, but basically, hey, hello, Poets Corner neighbor. Cool. This was made just for me. It's not for everyone. It's just for me. Neighborhood update. So they come in here. I always use Google Earth. So you could put in an address. And then when I use Loom to do the recording, and I can dive deeper into this another time. If you have questions, just hit me up and I'll let you know how this works. But basically, I use Google Earth for motion to catch their attention. It zooms in on their neighborhood while I'm saying, hey, Poets Corner's neighbors, it's great to see you all. Here's what's going on in your neighborhood. The next tab on the internet would be MLS. You can show comps, right? So I used Redfin because I don't have it, but the average home price was like 1.3. And then the third tab is a net sheet. And I like Fidelity's because it has graphics. It's pretty. And I just say, you know, here's what home values are doing in our market. There's been no sales. So if something does hit the market, it's going to go like crazy. If we look at the average sales price of 1.3, net out your cost, you would have a net profit of X. Just subtract your loan amount from that, and that's what you take for your next home purchase, whatever you want to do. Let me know if I can help. Thank you so much. I don't ask them to sell. I'm just giving and providing value to speak to something I think they should know. What was I going to do? I think that was it. Oh, so what you can do with this, if you're like, well, these are expensive. I learned this technique right here from a realtor in Florida, and he does a CMA a day to his database or anyone he knows. So he'll pull this up, uses Loom to record, Google Earth to get attention on their property, zooming in on my house. So you could send it to your past clients, your sphere of influence, anyone you know who owns a house. And you could just say, hey, Elias, hope all is well. I just wanted to make you a video for your house at 123 Main Street. You know, markets, everything in the media saying that home prices are going down. Well, what's crazy is here's what's selling in your neighborhood. And now I click over to the MLS tab, right? So I can show them comps. Here are recent sales in your neighborhood, and then go to the net sheet. So if you did want to sell, this is roughly how much you would net before your loan amount. Just wanted to make sure you knew, if you know anyone who would like a CMA like this that wants to know what's going on with their home value, we'd love to create one for them. Bye. So I give value to my past client. I ask for a referral indirectly, and it costs me $0. It costs me whatever Loom is, $15 a month. But you could do that for everyone you know that owns a home, and it costs you no money, and you're just giving value and providing value to people. So that's really a lot of what I wanted to share with you guys. I'll stop talking. But that's what I think we have to do, getting back to the flood. Everything I just showed you is building your boat. Marketing is building your boat. Giving value is building your boat. So when the time comes, there's no way I would think of anyone else other than Sean. That's what we should all be doing right now. And that's why I wanted to do this week, not next week, because I think we're already in it. Like the shift that happened with the competitive of the market from last week, it just hit on Monday of last week. It was just on fire. More pre-approvals, more offers, going way over, all that stuff happened. So I'll stop talking and we can jump into questions.
Man, I absolutely love this conversation. So first and foremost, thank you. This has been absolutely incredible. Who has questions? But I think most importantly, what I want to hear and what I want to know is that based on what you heard, what can you do with this information? What are you going to do with this information? What hooks, excuse me, have you thought about for social? How can you take this information and go and use it for consumers today? So let's go, Jeff. Let's go, Joellen. Let's hear from you guys, and feel free to get involved in the conversation. Throw your hands up.
Sean, you always bring fire. Appreciate you, brother, man. This is dope. But it reassured me on something that I did for a buyer recently. And it's a video that I'm actually going to make. So I'm glad you dropped the Loom thought process, because what we did was we had to go over asking, right, or over list price. But he wasn't as comfortable. And so what I did was I went back into the data based off of when past sellers had sold and what they sold for. The first seller bought the house in 2004, sold it in 2012, only made $60,000. The next seller that was in it bought it in 2014, but sold in 2024, which is when we bought it. They made $234,000. And I told him, what market do you think we're going into? Do you think we're going into more of a 2008 market or a market that reflects 2014 to 2024? And so then I was like, based off of just keeping it very, very conservative at a 3% appreciation rate, the next 5 years or 7 years, this is what you can expect. And so I think using the data and matching our thought processes around the market and understanding where the market is going is such a great idea, and then converting it into video form so that it becomes evergreen, so that you can, say, hey, this is an example of another home I sold. So it may not be for that one buyer. It could be for 3, 4, 5 buyers. Hey, let me take you to this home that I did sell before, and this was what the reflection of the example was. So appreciate you, brother. I'm definitely going to be tapping in soon, because I want to dive a little deeper into it.
No, I appreciate that. I wanted to touch on one thing that Jeff just said is he didn't tell them that he was right. He said, what do you think? Right? That's key. Give information and then ask a question so that they can process it as a question and answer for themselves. Like, that's key. It wasn't overbearing. It's, hey, here's what I'm looking at. What do you think? That's really powerful.
Yeah, love it. Let's go Joellen, then let's go Damian, and then let's go Joe. And I think that will be the last contribution because we will be right at time. Let's go Joellen.
Where are you making your images through?
I did those ones with ChatGPT. So that whole presentation came like was presenting something else, woke up in the middle of the night with an idea, this flood idea, and recreated the morning of my freaking keynote. But I use ChatGPT for those. And before we leave, what I'm going to do is I'll share that screen because I want you guys to see that Loom as an example. So you can scan the QR code and you'll see that landing page. So if you want to do these CMA a days for your clients, you'll have like a real example. But yeah, from ChatGPT.
But is it like ChatGPT AI character, or what is it? Just
ChatGPT 4.
Okay, and if I can share a little something with you really quick that can help you, is you can take these, what you just put, what you're mailing out, and put it in the Nextdoor app, and they can click the link, and you'll see how many people are viewing it, and they don't throw it away, and then it funnels into your CRM. I had 11 requests on one home evaluation link and got a listing within 15 days.
See, that's brilliant. I'm not a realtor, so I just like throw out ideas.
But you could do it too, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Great stuff, Joellen. I appreciate your contributions as always. Damian, and then we'll end with Joe. Let's go, Damian.
No, I just wanted to make note of a prior quote that I heard. Fear of regret compels us to make change. And that just speaks to a lot of clients to me. They fear not making a decision. And so once you conjure up that fear, they might get off the bench. They might actually act so that they don't feel like they're going to miss something. So I just want to make note of that quote that he spit out there. That was
Love it. I love it, Damian. I love it. Great stuff. And Joe, let's have you take us home, big guy.
Yeah, all good stuff. I appreciate the contribution. This was fantastic stuff. I mean, I took a lot of screenshots to follow up with our team on kind of what we're leveraging and how it compares to some of the value. 3 big takeaways for us is adding more value in this market, listening and asking the right questions, and then providing solutions. And so I think if you can kind of live under those 3 filters and everything that we do as far as outreach, I think we're going to see a different response in those that actually pull the trigger on trusting us and move forward with the next steps, whether it's scanning the QR code or it is answering the phone, answering the door when we come knocking, or actually transitioning into converting them to an actual buying client. I think for us, it comes down to taking our marketing, and when you're looking to solve a problem, like how do you make sure that your marketing actually matches that solve? So what I mean by that is if I pull a neighborhood and I say, what's the statistics of this neighborhood? How often is it turning? And then I want to go to sellers in the neighborhood and show them that data of, on average, this neighborhood, the homes in this neighborhood turn every X amount of years. And I see that that person has been in that home double those amount of years. It may be some leverage. Maybe it's a person that's looking to downsize. I might be able to actually solve a problem for them simply by doing more investigations into data and then coming to them with the actual solution in our marketing versus just throwing something out there and seeing if it sticks. So I think it's just moving with more intention, listening and or seeing what their problems are, and then be able to come to it with the solutions in the way that we physically show up, but as well as our marketing. So all good stuff for us.
Man, absolutely incredible, you guys. As we wrap the session, first off, let's give kudos, let's give love to Sean. Sean, if you can drop your Instagram handle down below so we can follow you, be in your ecosystem, and reach out if we have any questions. But I think what you said early on in the conversation, people like us do things like this. And I want you to really think about this when you're creating content. You're not creating content for investors, for sellers, for renters, for $2 million buyers, for $1 million buyers, for $500,000 for mobile homes, right? When you're creating content, you're delivering that to one person, and that's how that message should feel. If you're a mom balancing kids and being an entrepreneur, this video is for you. That video speaks directly to the mom that is frantic and has the kids and trying to do lunch and trying to be a mom and trying to be a wife and trying to be an entrepreneur and run a game. That person that watches it is directly the demographic that you're wanting to attract. So think about that. People like us do things like this. I thought that was super, super powerful. So Sean, any parting words before we close out Sesh?
No parting words. I'm just going to share this because I want you guys to see the Loom example. So you can scan this QR code. It'll take you to that landing page. So I'll leave this up as my closing thoughts. But yeah, this will take you to that page, and then you'll kind of be able to replicate that. And remember, I spoke as if I was pretending to be a real estate agent. So Don't make fun of me. It's not my area of expertise. I'm the mortgage guy, but I want you to see the example. So everyone get that? All right, cool. If you didn't, Elias got it.
I think it's not coming up, but it's okay. Send it to me. That way I have it.
I'll send it to you and you can send it out.
All right, you guys, listen, it's officially 9:30. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you guys' contributions, thoughts, being here, being present, sharing your time, effort, and energy with me today. It means the world. So as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and make this a day that counts. Take one thing from this session and go and apply it in your business. That's it. One. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, guys.